Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sky Factory 4. This is episode 7. Hi. So, we are wearing our glitch armor and floating above, well, kind of next to our islands. Um, so, at the end of the last episode, we talked about going to the end, or to the nether, I'm sorry, and collecting ourselves some data on some Endermen. And there were no Endermen to be found, but if you look in this deep learner, we did find some blaze. And then we also have this wither skeleton module here that is fully upgraded to the self-aware tier, which is super nice because we could run this through our machine down here. I cannot remember what this thing is called, the simulation chamber, and we can get some pristine um, wither skeleton matter. This stuff right here. And this stuff we can use. Oh, I forgot to click off. We can use this to create wither skeleton skulls, coal, the necrotic bones, or inferium, which is really nice. And I've been using it to make coal. Um, so I also got this while I was in the nether. This is simply from killing blazes. If we can exit out, please. Please let me out. Thank you. Our armor gives an 18% chance to drop pristine data or matter when data module gains data. So while we had that data module in here and it was gaining data, I was collecting those matters. And if we actually look up pristine, there's all kinds of them here. But this thing, we can use it to make the ardite sapling, which is real nice. And we can use it to make blaze rods, sulfur, or inferium. So this stuff is coming in very, very handy. Now, this guy right here, we were trying to get this upgraded so we could run it through this machine. So I needed to kill 6 Endermen. There were none in the nether, so what I did, Enderman, is I crafted up these Enderman seeds. They're made from a pumpkin, endstone, obsidian, 2 purple dye, and 2 blaze powder. You plant these down, you bone meal them, you break the glass, there's an Enderman. Break the grass, and then we killed the Enderman. Sometimes you get some seeds back, sometimes you don't. We did that just enough to get this so we could run the simulation chamber, and the reason for that is not that either. Getting this extraterrestrial matter. This terrestrial, you know what? This matter is used in making nether stars. We can actually craft up a nether star with some soul sand, 2 wither skeleton skulls, and this matter. It's also used to make chorus fruit, which we've used it before. We can just straight craft ender pearls, and we can use it with some sandstone to make endstone, so we don't have to use the Tinker's Smeltery. And then we can also craft up some Dragon's Breath, which that's pretty cool. We don't want to look at that anyway. The reason that I did that is because I needed these growth crystals. So I made 8 of these guys. Their recipe's pretty easy. We have the Potion of Swiftness, which we just had to brew up some potions, and then these sea lanterns we needed to craft up. These prismarine shards can be used with the overworldian matter and nether quartz. And then these guys right here, we can actually crush them down into the prismarine crystals. So we made 4 or 8 of these guys so that we could craft up 2 of these guys, which is why we needed the nether stars so we could grab this growth crystal here. And that growth crystal is being used to farm wheat. There's our potion brewing stand that we put up. And we have a little bit of a lag spike. We have a wheat production here, which is really nice. I have some absorption hoppers taking the wheat out. We're putting the seeds through a trash can. The growth crystal grows the crops faster and it acts like water. We have this plant interactor, which is breaking the different crops. It picks up some of the items, but it doesn't pick them all up, which is why we have the absorption hoppers. And of course, they're missing everything on the back and front row. We'll need to fix that at some point. But we have the wheat being dialed into this location here with 1.6 thousand pieces of wheat. what else did we do? We went back to the Lost Cities and we found some more of these s'more smingets. And I wanted to start looking at a better food. But before that, you'll notice this little guy right here, this Flux point. This is part of a mod called Flux Networks. And that is basically just used to send power wirelessly, which is what I have going on right here with the Flux storage and the Flux plug. These are pretty easy to craft up. If we look up Flux, it's just a few things. Flux cores, which is just some obsidian, eyes of ender. Another reason I need the ender pearls, and then flux, which is just redstone smelted in a furnace or energized smelter, doesn't matter. And this is just, like I said, used to send power wirelessly, which we will be using throughout the base instead of having all these gaudy cables everywhere. Now, when we were fighting these guys to get the glitch armor last episode, we were going through bacon and stuff like that quite quickly. And if we take a look at bacon real quick, it gives us 2 hunger haunches and 2.5 saturation. It's a decent early game food, but in the long run, it's not that great. If you watched the last episode, we were having to eat quite frequently until we found these s'more smingets, which gives us 4 hunger and then a ton of saturation at the bottom. So I want to craft these guys up. Their crafting recipe looks pretty simple, but if we go into the graham cracker, it requires us to have a pressurizer with flour. Flour is made in a manufactory with wheat, which is why we're growing the wheat. If we look at the marshmallow, we got to have liquid marshmallow in an ingot former. That is made in a salt mixer with molten sugar, which is just sugar in a melter. And then this hydrated gelatin. Hydrated gelatin is made with water and molten gelatin. Water's easy to come by. Molten gelatin is made by gelatin in a melter. Surprise, surprise. So we can take raw pork chops to get 8 of them in a manufactory. Whoop. Quit clicking. Or we can use any fish. Puffer fish, raw fish, salmon, clownfish, and we can get 4 of them. Now these guys right here can actually be auto-fished using this resource fisher. Says when placed over a pool of 3x3 pool of water, it will automatically fish. So we're going to need to make this thing. It shouldn't be too bad. We're going to throw that up here. And that'll get us going with the marshmallow side of things. The last thing is going to be this milk chocolate, which is molten milk chocolate in an ingot former. That is going to require us to mix up milk and dark chocolate. Yes. Milk we can get from cows. The salt mixer will require sugar, unsweetened chocolate. That is made also in a salt mixer with chocolate liqueur, cocoa butter. Cocoa butter is made in a fluid extractor from these ground cocoa nibs, which is roasted cocoa beans in a manufactory, which is smelted cocoa beans. Oh my goodness. The chocolate liqueur is in a melter with the same cocoa ground nibs. So to start off with the chocolate, we are going to need to grow some jungle saplings, which is going to be fun. So there is a huge laundry list of items that we need to do, craft up, and kind of get rolling. So the first thing I want to do is we actually have the pressurizer here, and I'm going to probably need to make another manufactory, which shouldn't be too bad if we click in here. Whoops, that actually can, you know what, we're going to leave that on there. Graham cracker here, manufactory. We'll throw this up here because I think we're going to need more than one. And we have everything but the piston and this copper solenoid, which should be easy to craft. The piston, we should have everything we need. And give me the manufactory. So first things first, we're going to use this area here as I kind of have all of my stuff being processed over here. So if these, let's see, we originally were putting all the crates on the back row. These are on the back row, so I think I will start this the same way. And let's get out of flying mode. And we're going to place you here and you here. So I don't know, I don't think these can auto eject to the machine next to it, but this pressurizer, when provided with power, will make us the graham cracker side of things, and that's all we need. So we may put this guy, let's get out some cobblestone because why not? We may put this guy up here like that, and then we can put a pipe between it. And I kind of wanted everything on the floor so we could run power, but I do believe that there is a, if we look up, let's just look up item duct. Item transfer pipe, power, energy so vacuum plated signalum, dense signalum. I think I actually have some of those in the system. If we look up signalum, power energy. I don't know why these are different than these. Oh, those are just signalum plated. They're not the vacuum. So we can actually use these to transfer redstone, flux, and the items from here around. So let's get some wheat and we'll throw it in here. We are going to need a little bit of power to get started. And how do we want to do this? It might have been a mistake breaking that because we probably only need to break that. So let's go down, we'll collect our items, we'll place these back in. And looks like we got power right here. So we'll place you there, and we can just kind of run this like that. It will connect. Those are technically connected. The cyclic pipes do not like these, but this should be getting power. Yes, perfect. So now if we get a servo, and we'll just use one of these because we have a bunch of them. And we grab a little bit of this flour, throw that in there, and that in there, and it should be going up here. There it goes, very, very slowly. And we can make, if we look up, let's see, speed, upgrade. We have these guys right here. We can make a few of these just to speed these machines up, but there is our graham cracker, and we can actually start storing the items that we need out of this little setup. We are going to need to send this thing wheat, so we'll have to figure that out. But the first part, excuse me, the first part of this is pretty much done. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set up all the things that I need for the marshmallow. And yeah, this is going to be a fun little project and get ourselves a definite or a better source of food. When I last left you guys, we had just this little setup right here. And this was for the graham crackers. All we had to do was get a crate and take the graham crackers themselves and hook them up to a storage link cable so we can see them in our little crafting grid. Storage, whatever. What is that called? Simple Storage Network. Thank you. Bear with me. I've recorded this clip like 3 times. Keep getting interrupted and things like that. Oh, so we also have the marshmallow and we have the milk chocolate. So if we look inside of here and we look up milk, we can see that we have 74 bars and that number is going up, as you can see. If we look up marshmallow, we have 475 of those, and if we look up graham cracker, we have 906 of those. So we're pretty well set. If we wanted to make these, we could just simply do this. And that's really nice. Now, the process in which we make all of this stuff is quite extensive. So before we look at it, let's go over here. everything kind of starts with this guy in the second set of our um, machines up there for the marshmallows is a resource fisher. So this thing fishes for us. It's above a 3x3 pool of water here. We do have a couple of pipes out this side that are extracting items that we don't really want to keep. The leather is something I would keep, but I'm not too bothered by it. We don't use it very often. Over here, we just have some backup items that keep coming in, and I check this thing every now and then to see what comes in. Not too long ago, we actually had some ink sacs come in, so I went ahead and added those to this. This is the stuff that we're keeping: clownfish, raw fish, salmon, and pufferfish, and then, of course, ink sacs. So this chest right here, you guys can barely see it, has a ton of stuff on it. Or a ton of stuff in it, and it's all coming in here. We have a little bit of gold plates right here, which I don't know why they're in here. I do believe that our storage chests up here are starting to fill up, so we're going to need to make a few more of those and probably set a priority to the cable. Like here, we definitely don't want stuff coming into this chest. The other thing that we have down here is just a basic vanilla sugarcane farm. We have some sugarcane on Snad, and Snad is just crafted with 2 pieces of sand, and this makes the sugarcane grow faster. Just some observers tied into some pistons, and all of this stuff is going into a water stream. I did notice that some sugarcane was falling on top of the Snad, so we added in 2 absorption hoppers. All of that stuff comes around into a mechanical squeezer. This squeezes out the sugarcane, turns it into 4 sugar with a 50% chance of an additional one. All of that stuff goes around into that white chest over there. And I have added a storage link cable here for all the fish. I still need to add the clownfish. And then we have a storage link cable over here for the sugar. So this manufactory takes the fish, turns it into gelatin. The gelatin is sent up here to the melter. It is melted into molten gelatin. The molten gelatin is sent up here to the salt mixer along with water that you can see in the back. And this is turning everything into hydrated gelatin. The hydrated gelatin comes down here into the salt mixer with molten sugar from the melter and turns into liquid marshmallow. We pump that to the side here in the ingot former, and that's what makes the marshmallow. Right now I have this servo shut off so that no sugar is going up, and we're stealing the sugar for this side. That side is the milk chocolate, and the milk chocolate production starts over here. So we have 2 bonsai pots with yellow mulch in them. We upgraded our brown mulch. We have the cocoa beans in here. Everything else is being filtered into a trash can. As you can see, we were growing some mineral trees so we could make the mechanical squeezer down below. This one actually still has some cocoa beans in it. This side is a little slower. Everything, or both sides, have an energized smelter, which is taking the cocoa beans and turning them into roasted cocoa beans. Those are being pumped over to manufactories, which are turning those into the ground cocoa nibs. Both sides get the same. This is where everything kind of splits off. So the left-hand side comes into the melter. It is turning the chocolate nibs into the chocolate liqueur. The fluid extractor is taking the ground cocoa nibs and it is making cocoa butter. And I'm not sure what this stuff is called. Cocoa solids. I did keep a little bit of those. They can only be used for like brown dye. So I am taking those and voiding them in this trash can. Both of those items are coming up here, the cocoa butter and the chocolate liqueur, and they are being melted down into unsweetened chocolate. That is being pumped up through this pipe, coming around to this salt mixer right here, where we are combining the molten unsweetened chocolate and the molten sugar from this guy, and that is creating molten dark chocolate. The molten dark chocolate is then being pumped over to this salt mixer, combined with milk to make milk chocolate. The milk chocolate comes up to the ingot former, and that is turning it into the milk chocolate bars we have up there. Our slowdown right now is this guy right here. We created a cow in the jar, which if we look, cow in, this guy right here, we had to take a cow, put it over this milk jar, and then drop an anvil on top of it. The milk jar is just some glass, wood, and a milk bucket. So this produces milk for us. Eventually, this thing hopefully will start filling up. We may need to do some things like shut this guy off and let the milk go ahead and um, accumulate in the bottle back there. But I'm trying to get this up to where we're at here, 400. This has got 900. This way we can keep our s'mores. So now it's real nice. If we wanted to craft this stuff up, we can. But we do have in this quest line right here, the hey Smalls, you want a s'more? Craft a more s'more double sminget. So more, and we'll just scroll through because I don't feel like finding it. This guy gives us a ton of hunger, almost pretty much a full bar and 48 saturation. This is 2 s'more smingets with a milk chocolate and a marshmallow. Let's craft ourselves one of these up. Nice, nice, nice. So we made the advancement in this guy right here. This is a different sandwich that we're going to have to get to later, but this thing is nice. So now we've got a decent supply of decent food, so if we're doing any more fights and things like that, we are definitely well set up. So the next thing I would like to look at, I'm not sure what we're at for time, I have no idea, but I definitely would like to at least craft up the end cake. Okay, we should have all of the Eyes of Ender that we need. The only thing that we really need is this cake. Back please, thank you. And it looks to me like we are missing the milk and of course some sugar. Do I still have? I do. So we're going to keep that there. If I click out of this, if I put the sugar in here and then click this button, it is going to put this stuff in the other chest down below, and then it'll end up coming up over here. So we don't want to do that. So we're going to place you there, and then we're going to have to look at buckets, which I really don't have any. So we are going to just take a little bit of iron. We're going to make some buckets, and then I'm going to actually need to go buy another cow because I squished mine into a milk jar. So what does a cow cost me? 16 raw corn. Do I have corn? I have 11. But we have a corn seed here. All right, so we can do this. If we get some bone meal. Let's see. Is that enough? Yes, it is. Cow seed. Give it to me, please. Thank you much. And then we are going to take, as a matter of fact, we're going to go ahead and make ourselves 3 buckets now. Is that crafting recipe still in here? Good. We'll take the cow, we'll plant it down here, we'll grow it with some cow seeds, and now we have to let this little guy cool down. Now the very nice thing is I have a ton of wheat, so we can actually sit here and run this cooldown real quick. And we're going to waste a lot of wheat doing this, but it's not a big deal. Come on. Oh, that's the end of it. Can't do any more. Throw you in there. Get our buckets out. Throw that in there. And he's grown. So 1, 2, 3. Place you in the grid like so. And we have a cake. Sweet. in cake got. If we look up cake, there's a few others that I'd like to craft. We have the hunting dimension cake, which is relatively easy to make. And then we have the Twilight Forest cake, which is also easy to make. So we can go through the Twilight Forest and do things like that. That should be all of the. Yes, that is all of them. All the cakes that we can make to go to the different areas. So now we have the end. Let's see. We have our deep learner. This doesn't have the module in it that I would like. So we're going to float down here. And oh my goodness, this place is a mess. Here it is. We are going to put this in here. I would also like to make a shulker data module. So data, that is this guy, but it requires a shulker shell, which, we're going to have to get that from the end. And so what I should do is go ahead and craft one of these blank modules for myself and just have it in my backpack. Let me get that done and check the time on the recording, and we'll see if we're going to go fight an Ender Dragon. Looking at the clock, I think we're about 25 minutes into the video at this point. So we're not going to go to the end today, but before I go to the end, there's a few things I'd like to do. We did craft ourselves up this blank data module, so we will keep this on our person. We have plenty of food. Probably need to grab some ender pearls. We'll do a couple of things to get prepped for the ender dragon fight, and then some end exploration. But I really need to make a ranged weapon, so I'm gonna make this shuriken, and we need 4 knife blades. So looking through all of the different knife blades here, Manulin's really good. It has a high attack damage. I'm also going to go with lead because it has poisonous, and then I was thinking electrum because it has shocking, just for some added durability or added damage and things like that. So we're going to smelt these guys down to Manulin. You know, I probably have Manulin in here. I do. 6 ingots. Of course I do. We're going to go ahead and, oh, look, we have some ardite and hard carbon in here too. We're going to let this smelt out and this smelt out. So we've got lead and electrum, and we're going to make all of the different knife blades that we can. And there is lead. Should have electrum quickly behind it. And this will just give us a little bit of a ranged weapon. I'm not sure which ingot it will require to repair this thing, but we're definitely going to have to keep an eye on that. These are almost done smelting, so we will go in here and we will throw the electrum, and that, I think this first slot that I shift clicked it into is going to be what it takes to repair this. And if that is the case, we would like lead. And we can take our Tinker's Forge with us, and we'll let this alloy up. We could take this tool forge with us to repair stuff. I believe all we need is just a Tinker's table and 2 ingots. How long does this take? Not too long. And this will just give us a little bit of advantage against the Ender Dragon itself. I could change the Fisher to where we collect some different bows and we could get a really good bow, but we might as well go this route. So put that in there. And we have an attack of 5.89, 100% accuracy, and 3 modifiers. Ooh. That's not that great of attack. Our sword does 18 and the cleaver does 23. It does have 3 modifiers, so we could put like some sharpness on it. We could put a little bit of unbreaking on it. I might want to look at what it's going to cost or what the damage will be with just straight Manulin. So let's go ahead and do that. It's just going to waste a couple of Manulin. That's going to take a little bit to smelt down. Yeah. let's look at this. So I haven't had a single Ender Pearl drop from this since I made this thing or got the other stuff going on down there. Like I said, I think we're gonna move at some point. I think I want to move this and put it kind of above this, and then have just like a big old tower, and maybe at the bottom do something sweet. I'm not too bothered by it. This is kind of my first time ever playing Sky Factory, so holy mess does it get. Please smelt up faster. I don't think we don't have things like time in a bottle. No. Do we have acceleration ones? No. Torcherinos. Do we have a Torcherino? Throwing torch, redstone torch, torch lever, mega torch, stone torch, miner's torch, mineral. No. No real way to accelerate things, but enough talking and we got it. I just want to see what the damage will be with this. I thought this would be a good shuriken with these guys, but it is what it is. Please give those back. Thank you. So you and you and you. So it has a 7.8 attack. Still 3 modifiers. So if we put lead on there, drops it to 6.8. And then this would be a 5.89. Let's go ahead and make this. And then let's grab some quartz. No, I don't want you. I want you. And does that work? Oh, yeah. 8.89. And then 10.4. That's not bad. That's all the modifiers used up. But that's not a terrible shuriken to start. So let's go ahead and throw these in there. We can resmelt those knife blades down, as a matter of fact. Knife. This is the coolest thing about Tinker's Construct. So we can resmelt these down. I can get the ingot cast back out, which is right here. And we can just remake those into ingots. So it's not going to cost us any materials. But that's it for me today. We made some food. We got a shuriken. And it's been quite a process. It was a lot of fun. I definitely got a better food source now. Next episode, we're going to go fight the Ender Dragon and do some end raiding. But as always, if you guys like the video, please hit the like button. Lets me know you guys are enjoying it. Leave a comment. Consider subscribing if you're new. And I will see you on the next one.